Hi, welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Sabrina Register. We are here at Pierce County's Environmental Services Building, University Place. Joining me right now, Artistic Director, Seattle International Film Festival, Carl Spence. Thanks so much for coming on the program. Nice to see you again, as always.
It's great to be here, and it's a great setting.
Yes, isn't it? We ordered up nice weather even today, which is kind of unusual this spring, isn't it? Before we talk, of course, about the film festival, you all have a new home. Tell us about that.
We do. We just got our keys in the last few days, and it's at Seattle Center. We've actually completely remade one of the buildings from the World's Fair, the Archive Room, and it's there's a theater as well as a classroom and a library archive and our permanent offices. It overlooks the fountain, and the Space Needle's got a $1 million view. It's going to be an amazing film center, and we will start programming that this fall.
Film Center, I like that. Yeah, it's great. Talk a little bit about the film festival. Of course, that's really why you're here. What are you excited about this year? I always like to pick your brain.
Well, it's always very exciting. It's the largest event of its kind in the country. We have more people coming to this festival than anywhere else in the U.S. And opening night is always great. And this year we're kicking it off with a film called The First Grader, which came in second to The King's Speech at the Toronto Film Festival. So it's it's an inspirational film about set in Kenya by this British director, but it's a really wonderful film. Also, we're doing a tribute to Warren Miller, a lifetime achievement for his amazing work in this sort of sports action and sort of groundbreaking work in filming outdoor sports, as well as Ewan McGregor is our one of our tribute guests. You might know him from Train Spotting, Pillow Book, Moulin Rouge. He's in
Big Fish.
Big Fish. He's in a new film called Beginners, directed by Mike Mills.
And he's actually coming here,
yes,
right?
He will be here for a special evening and afternoon with a conversation, a screening, a tribute dinner, and sort of with all the trimmings. And it should be a really great way to kick off the first weekend of the festival.
Fantastic. Of course, you have all the venues in Seattle, but you're also traveling outside of Seattle, East Side, down in the South Sound. Tell us about that.
Yes, for the first year we'll be in Renton, and we'll be having an opening night in each of the other cities. So the day after our opening night on May 19th, on May 20th we'll be opening in Renton with a film by Mario Van Peebles called Black, White, and Blues. And then the next week is opening in Everett, and then following that in Kirkland. So there's always, we're traveling sort of south and north and then east, as well as many, there's over 20 venues, including in Seattle.
So there's no excuse. You don't have to come to Seattle to see great films. Talk about what's different this year in terms of groupings, the pathways. If you want to see a particular kind of film, you guys have made it easy.
Yeah, we have, and there's always been a great selection of films, very eclectic films, big major studio films, the smaller independent films from around the world. There's 74 countries, but this year we've organized it in a way so you can sort of choose a film based on the mood you're in. If you feel like seeing a comedy, you feel like seeing a thriller, you feel like seeing something that's more creative, something that's going to touch on history and politics, so that it's very easy. And on our website at SIFF.net you can see that, and there's a whole way you can sift through those, as well as in our magazine you get at most Starbucks throughout the region.
And why the reason behind that?
Because there's so many films. We show 250 plus features. It's like, how do you choose which film to see tonight? So we wanted to make it much easier. And we have things for the families. We have the first screening of Winnie the Pooh from Disney to more adult fare to a fare films for teens as well. So it sort of runs the gamut from international fare to American independent films to some bigger studio films.
As you mentioned, I mean, you have so many films. So what's the process? I would imagine it's incredibly challenging whittling it down, and yet you still have so many films. But what's the process for deciding what comes to the film festival?
Well, we see films year long, and we had over 3,000 films submitted to us, but we also have people who select the films. There's a group of us, about 20, and we actually go to other countries and film markets, and we look for films, so we bring them back to Seattle. So we probably see collectively over 5,000 films to narrow it down to about 250 features, and this year over 180 shorts. So it's sort of, it's subjective. We look for great stories. It's really great stories that captivate us. So, whether it be a film from Korea to a film from Kenya to some really great stories here in the Pacific Northwest. There's really great films made here in the Pacific Northwest, from Seattle to Oregon to even in Spokane.
So lively discussion about what goes in, or a general consensus?
There's not always consensus. Yeah, actually, the films sometimes, we argue a lot about films, and that's really healthy. And many times those are really interesting films because we're not just programming for ourselves, but for they're really diverse and wide-ranging audience of the Pacific Northwest.
Well, fantastic. May 19th through June 12th,
yes.
The dates for the Seattle International Film Festival. Carl Spence, Artistic Director, thanks so much for coming on.
It's great to be here.
Thanks for watching Comcast Newsmakers Headline News at the top of the hour.